There's a line between belaboring a point and going too far with it. There's that end of the spectrum, and then of course there's the other end where you haven't made enough of a case for something. Today, I promise, will be the last episode on all the ways that we are subsidizing profitable corporations in New Brunswick. Now, there are three main ones that I've wanted to touch on, so I better be quick because this is our daily live for 5. I'll try to keep it to that. You already know how long this video is because you could check the time. I don't know how long this is going to turn out. So let me just continue from yesterday where I mentioned how the province is charging a carbon adjuster at the pump. And when it came out last year, 7 cents on the liter that you and I are paying right at the pump to send to Irving to help them cover costs that were imposed by the federal government clean fuels regulations that was supposed to incentivize producers and importers to clean up their methods. Now, of course, why would you do that if you're just going to put your hand out and get the money from you and I to not change anything? And in fact, here's the most egregious thing. The formula that Irving presented to the government that they accepted is now universally understood to have been too high. It should never have been 7 cents, even with the formula they used. And so, of course, the Energy and Utility Board is going to adjust it as it goes, but you and I are still paying out to help Irving. Now, I want you to remember one thing. Every cent that is charged in the carbon adjuster amounts to about $14 million in total, okay? So 4, 5, 6 cents, that's 14 times 4, 5, 6. Now, this is all framed in the context of our previous series, for example, where we talked about universal breakfast and lunch programs. Let's say that costs $50 million. None of us love paying taxes, but if I had to pay a few dollars, let's even say at the gas pump, which there's no correlation between gas and lunches necessarily, a case could be made, but I'm saying that if I knew that I was paying 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cents more a liter at the pump and not a single child in this province went hungry, I might be okay with that. To pay that money to Irving, that in 2022, it is presumed based on other oil companies profiting at basically $3,000 a barrel is what their profits are. Again, you look at the cost of oil, $100 a barrel, this and that. They are making up to $3,000 a barrel. That's probably $1 billion in revenue. Imagine the tax margin, just a fractional tax on that could have been brought in. And that leads me to number 2, which is the refinery in St. John. We got to talk about this. Early last year, a tax bill was issued to Irving, about $600,000, $580,000. And it was the first time that was done in decades. And people were excited. Oh my gosh, Irving's going to finally pay its fair share. The Greens have been campaigning on this since at least 2018. It is time for that refinery that makes $1 billion, hundreds and hundreds of millions, to at least pay property tax. Guess what? They've had a full exemption on property tax since 1981. A deal was done with the government to help it through hard times, the late 70s, the fuel crisis. And since 1981, since I was 2 years old, not a cent has been charged on property tax to that refinery. Well, of course, that means that St. John is not getting its fair share. The province is basically saying we don't need to charge them. And that is just one other way that we are helping a massively profitable industry. Last thing, did you know that the NB Power is giving a subsidy, a break, to pulp and paper mills? Yes, Irving, in our province. This is some kind of loophole where when the EUB approves rates on NB Power, then they also have to give a break to pulp and paper mills. Again, deals that are made with the government and with Irving. I'm asking you, are you getting a break on the rising costs of hydro? This is what happens when the EUB, Energy and Utility Board, approves a rate increase on NB Power. Because of the Electricity Act and the way it is structured now, they must give a break to these massively profitable corporations. There's nothing like that in Ontario, for example. There are measures where when the rates go up, Low-income households are given a break. There is nothing like that in New Brunswick. And so, I mean, this is one of those, I've had several over the last 98 episodes, 98 straight days of this, where you might as well laugh as cry, where corporations that make literally $1 billion a year are getting breaks, $27 million over the next couple of years in breaks on electricity for the pulp and paper mills. Again, frame this in the context of when I said it might cost $50 million to give universal breakfast and lunch to all kids. Or the New Brunswick Medical Society that said we need $500 million out of our $13.3 billion budget. And yesterday was announced there's a $500 million surplus. Lots of questions around that. That this is the kind of money in a $13+ billion budget that it would take to fix our broken and flagging systems, our programs and infrastructure that is not working for us, getting the policing we need, the teachers we need, the nurses we need, the roads we need, all these things. And yet, tens of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars are going out in different ways to subsidize corporations in this province in different ways. Hopefully, I have made a case for this. Again, as I said, even MLAs in the House, Conservative MLAs, Andrea Anderson Mason, excellent MLA, next door to Saint Croix, questioned this and said, do we know where this money is going? Do we know who this is helping? Some MLAs are fighting for their riding, concerned for the affordability of the people who live there. That is the kind of MLA that I will be for Saint Croix. We are not going to put our heads down anymore and just say, that's fine, I'm good with that. If we are going to be taxed, it is going to help every single resident, getting ferries, getting roads, getting doctors, getting police. It is not going to go to subsidize profitable corporations. We need solutions that are for our common good. I've been saying that for 98 plus days too. My campaign launch was about that. Every decision we make needs to be around our common good that benefits everybody, not just a few who already have what they need. Join me tomorrow. Hope your scorching Tuesday is going well. It's 31 degrees outside. See you tomorrow on Wednesday for episode 99. And I will say tomorrow is the Green launch in Fredericton. If you're hearing this in time, come to Fredericton, the Delta Hotel, 12 o'clock. We will be there kicking off our campaign election season. We are anticipating the writ to drop and election season to start officially on Thursday. And that'll be episode 100. So that's nice and poetic. See you this weekend at the fair. I'll be pounding signs into the ground.